My personal experience started about 20 years ago when my father, who was in his early 60s then, he was diagnosed with young onset Alzheimer's disease. It was a bit of a long process to get him diagnosed, a bit of reluctance from the GP, who was also a family friend, but also acceptance from my father that anything was wrong. My father lived for 13 years with young onset Alzheimer's disease. It was very difficult for me because my family lived in Gloucestershire and I lived in Scotland at the time, but I was the one who was trying to organise all the medical appointments and get support into place. So it was very difficult sort of doing this from a long distance. My parents had a very, very traditional 1950s relationship. So my mother did all the sort of womanly things in the house and my father was the provider. So he found it very, very difficult that he was losing his identity. He was sort of man of the house. And my mum sort of really looked at my dad as the rock. So it was very difficult for her as well. The biggest problem with the family is, my parents being very reluctant to actually open up and talk about it. My mum felt quite ashamed about it, that there was quite a stigma about it. So she became quite isolated with this. When somebody gets a diagnosis of young onset Alzheimer's disease, I think it's really important that the person and their partner, their family, can really talk openly about it if possible and understand what's actually going on, how it's going to affect the whole family. And have a look what support is available around them. This can be support sort of for the health and social care professionals, from the local community and from friends and family as well. It's important sort of to have the knowledge there, but also where to look for support.